When I started creating content, I thought that I just had to post consistently and that the algorithm would do the rest. Spoiler alert, it didn't. I wasted time, burnt out, and nearly quit, all because I was doing things completely wrong. In this video, I'll be sharing the 10 things I wish someone would have told me when I was starting out with 0 followers, so you can skip the mistakes and start scaling your brand. Number 1, don't just post, learn to hook. It doesn't matter how much content you end up putting out per day if your content doesn't stick with your audience. If it doesn't actually make someone stop and actually read it or watch it. One of the most important skills for you to learn at first is the art of the hook. You want to think about your first 3 seconds as the most vital seconds of your entire content piece. And this doesn't just apply to video content. This could also apply to written content. You want the first 3 seconds of someone watching or reading your video to make them stop scrolling and to start consuming your content. Pro tip, ask yourself this question. What would make someone hate their day if they scrolled past your content? This is a question a good friend of mine, Alex is building, shared with me a couple of months ago, almost a year ago, and I haven't stopped thinking about it since. Every single piece of content that I have posted since he's told me or he's asked me this question, I've literally sat down before I pressed post and asked myself this question. Would I hate my day if I just scrolled past this tweet? If the answer is no, go back, rewrite it, refilm it until the answer is a clear yes. Number 2, stop copying, start positioning. At first, a lot of us content creators are primed to look elsewhere, to look up for guidance at the top content creators in our niche and try to understand what is it that makes their content appeal to the masses. And so oftentimes we fall into the trap, a trap that I myself have fallen into at first, which is, what if I just did the same type of content? It already works for these 10 other guys. Why wouldn't it work for me? And you will instantly start to realize that what works for someone else, especially a top content creator, is very unlikely to also work for you. The reason being, this top content creator, they've paved their way, they've earned their trust, they've developed their niche, they've developed their writing style, they've developed their voice and brand and identity through countless amounts of posts, and you haven't. So as a result, you end up copying a style from someone who maybe doesn't even tackle the same target audience as you, the same end audience as yourself. So instead, try to focus on the question, why should someone follow you? Why should someone click on follow? What value are you bringing to the table? Number 3, quantity first, then quality. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a huge advocate for quality over quantity. However, this is the only exception to that rule. At first, people are going to need a lot of content from you to learn to trust you, to learn your style, to learn who is it that you are? What is it you stand for? What is your message? What is your end goal? People are going to need to consume a lot of that content before they end up deciding to even follow you. And this is where quantity is key. You want to put out as much content that showcases who is it that you are as possible. Reason number 2 also for this is you're going to probably need to figure out who is it that you are. What is your voice? And in order to do that, you're going to have to go through hundreds of tweets, hundreds of posts, hundreds of videos in order to even find your brand voice. What is it that you stand for? That message isn't something that you just start clearly with. That's a message that you refine and repurpose and have another go at over and over and over again until you find something that sticks. Number 4, one platform first. And again, although I'm a huge advocate on being multi-platform, on posting your content cross-platform, for obvious reasons.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
But first, it's helpful for you to master one platform understand how to speak to your target audience on that platform. And then once you've achieved, forget about mastery. None of us are ever going to master one social platform with all the algorithm changes. The moment you start feeling like you've gotten the gist of it, there's traction on that platform, that's the moment for you to go like, oh, looks like it's time for me to start understanding another platform. Repurposing your content to start fitting into that other platform, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, X. Number 5, learn to tell better stories. One of the most important skills for us content creators to learn, beyond just consistency and grit and the will, is storytelling. Storytelling is such an important skill for you to be learning that if you notice your favorite, the biggest content creators that come up to mind, those are all some of the best storytellers in the world. They're able to inspire you, motivate you, move you to tears, entertain you. They're able to change your life with just the power of story. And this is the power of storytelling. Now you'll notice any great storyteller will flawlessly use these 6 characteristics. Number 1, a character. They know how to give us someone to cheer for. Number 2, a setting to help us see what is happening. Number 3 is struggle. It introduces a difficulty that needs to be overcome. Number 4, a pursuit, aka us tracking the progress of the character through his triumph. Number 5, a pivot, aka a cliffhanger or a big surprise. And number 6, a payoff or a takeaway, a moral to the story, something that makes the story worthwhile. Now I think Freytag's pyramid does a great job at illustrating the core characteristics of a great story. There's always your hero character that we start with the exposition. We understand who is the character, what is the setting, what is their life, what are they about. And then they face an enticing incident. Something happens in their life, a big change, a big problem, the apocalypse. And then a rising action occurs. This is the hero trying to solve that problem. They reach a climax after a series of events. And then a twist happens. Something happens that makes them almost lose the battle until we end up towards the resolution, which is typically the end of the story, the message you're trying to get across to your customer. Now, a pro tip, a lot of people typically place themselves in the hero role whenever they tell a story. The next time you want to tell a story, I strongly suggest you try to, instead of placing yourself as the hero character, place your customer or your audience instead of yourself in that hero role. This will allow them a lot better to position themselves, imagine themselves, and get inspired by that story. Number 6, focus on value, not views. At first, you're going to struggle so much gaining any traction. And that's just the story of every single starting content creator. Instead of focusing on views, focus on the value that you're providing. Every single piece of content that you create should either entertain or educate one specific group of people. And the best way to think about it, the more you can entertain or educate that same group of people, that same audience type, there comes a time when eventually you start gaining their trust. They stop just being distant viewers and they start being, well, number 1, followers or subscribers. And then a layer deeper, they start becoming fans. They start returning. They start getting excited about your next piece of content. So forget about views, especially at first, because odds are it's going to take you a long time, a lot of content pieces before you ever even get close to hitting your first million views or million impression post. Number 7, engage like a human. At first, you're going to want to connect, meet, make friends with as many other smaller creators that are in your niche. You guys are going to be able to help share the knowledge. You're going to be able to crack the code a lot faster together. But not only this, you're going to have the luxury of replying to every single one of your comments. Develop a deeper connection with each and every person that comes knocking at your door, watching your content. Think, be a fan first. Number 8, your brand is greater than your logo. Now, what I mean by this is Oftentimes, a lot of people are too stuck in their perfectionist ways, trying to nail the perfect aesthetic, the perfect shot, the perfect video, the perfect gear. Oh, Kermit, what camera are you using right now? What mic are you using? Oh, who's your editor? Forget about all of this. Forget about your brand's aesthetic for a moment, because chances are your first video, your first tweet, your first content piece is going to be your worst content piece. Matter of fact, every single other content piece that you will create and post after that first video is going to be 100 times better, and then 100 times, and then 100 times. Eventually, when you look back on that first post, no matter who you are, no matter how skilled you are, you're going to realize that that first video that you posted is probably one of your worst videos. So instead of focusing on the aesthetics, on getting the message out perfectly, on getting your voice out perfectly at first, focus on the value you're bringing to the table, the value and the message that you're putting across. Number 9, be known for one thing first. It's so easy to want to try out all these different things at first, and I'm a strong advocate for trying out as many niches, as many content types as you can at first. But what you're going to quickly find is when you have that breakthrough, it's going to be from one content type. People are going to recognize you from this one content piece that ends up hitting. So chances are, if you're able to find the content type and niche that not only do you like, but you're very good at researching, understanding, providing value in, then stick to this niche and double down in it. Learn to deliver continuous value to that same target audience over and over and over again until you gain their trust. Once people trust you for that, then and only then should you start looking for different content types. Number 10, you're early. You're not behind. A lot of people start with a lot of motivation when they start their content creation journey. Yet the funny thing about motivation is one day you wake up feeling super pumped, you're ready to go to the gym, you're ready to fight 100 battles, and the next day you wake up and your head hurts, or you woke up on the wrong side of the bed and all of a sudden motivation's gone, and you lose hope, you lose traction, you lose momentum. In fact, most people quit before they ever gain momentum, before they ever hit that turning point of traction. One of the top characteristics that you'll need to acquire as a content creator, the thing that every single one of the top content creators have in common, other than storytelling, is consistency. Being able to show up every single day, being able to show up whether your engagement is high, whether it's low, whether people care, whether people don't care, whether people are happy for you and they're cheering for you, whether they've all turned against you, whatever that is, you're going to have to show up every single day. Because if you don't, that's how stars die out. That's how they fade away into irrelevance, inexistence. So don't give up on yourself. Keep at this game consistently. Hey, if you've enjoyed this video, chances are you're going to find these 2 other videos that I posted just a few days ago very helpful. The first is what I do if I was starting in crypto with 0 followers. And the second, how I got my first 10,000 followers on crypto Twitter. I'm sharing everything that I learn as I grow. So follow me for more content like this. See you soon.